Chris. Hey,
Ian, what's
how's
up,
it
dude?
going, man? How are you?
Finally, here we are.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, it's great. I feel like I'm meeting a celebrity, man. I watch
Come
your shows
on.
so I do. I watch your shows so much.
Well, you know what? I appreciate that, and you do have your own following, and it's kind of cool. We're together tonight.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and we're both Canadian,
Hey, yes, indeed, yes, indeed. So, how's things?
Wow.
What have you been up to? You writing a book or something? I hear.
Yeah, yeah. Around here somewhere. I wrote this one already, the I Cure Cancer one, and but I have one coming out now called Alkaline. It's just called Alkaline because that's basically, I mean, it backs up what this book did. That's more of a protocol. This is more of the science behind it because I befriended Dr. Robert O. Young. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's wrote the pH Miracle and a number of books and things. And guy's got a lot of credentials. So I'm making him the star of my next I Cure Cancer movie.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So
Yeah,
that's what I've been working on.
good.
Yeah. So, but I got a bunch of questions here, and this is the beginning of a new project. Even like I'm wrapping up the next book, and then getting into that film. But I'm always working, you know. Down the line, I want to be ready to go to work and write another book. So, like this will be a chapter probably in Space Cadet down the line,
Okay.
which will also be hopefully a film. So that's cool, right? That I interview for all this. Yeah, right on.
Yeah, you know what? Anything you want from me, I'm an open book.
Excellent. Yeah, I really think I'm going to learn a lot from this. I know some of my friends really like you too. They turned me on to you a long time ago.
Well, that's awesome to hear. It's really humbling to me to. It's like, wow, people are listening to me. People are paying attention. What am I doing down here? It's like people are like, have you heard of Chris Kehler? I'm like, wow, people are talking about me. Well, it's kind of cool.
For this day and age too, it's really good, especially in Canada. Of course, you've mentioned before it's because you're international online, but I was, you know, I hung out in Venice Beach back in the day in the 90s, and I've just always been a crazy kid looking at people that some people like were into crystals, some were into astrology, astronomy, whatever, all the different things. And I've always been open to it. And then I started studying as an Essene when I was in my mid 20s. I had that, well, I had the return of Saturn really bad. I hit that hard, you know what I'm saying? With the return of Saturn, I was very, the suicidal depression and everything, because I really peaked and went down. I was a Canadian champion kickboxing to movie star, and then nothing, and injuries, and you know, nobody's there for you anymore, you know, once you. So I had to find something, you know.
That's a curse that hit you. How old were you when that happened?
I was it was 27. It was the 20.
Curse of 27.
Yeah, the 26, 27. Sort of that's the whole.
Janis Joplin,
Jim Morrison,
all that stuff. Curse of 27. That's a big one.
Yeah. So and it was hard on me. I mean, I was suicidal for years. I went from being a champion to an alcoholic, suicidal. Just couldn't. I mean, I always functioned. I made the movie I Cure Cancer. That's what kept me alive. Was things like that. It's like I can't off myself because I have too much information for the world, but I didn't want to be here either. You know, it was a crazy long time, but I've gotten all over all that. You know, at 42, I quit drinking. I'm 51 now, and I've been sober, you know, almost 10 years. So, and I use the Essene meditation. You know, supposedly Christ was in Essene, Mary and Joseph were Essenes. But my research, and this is what I can't wait to talk to you about, because I think you're schooled in a lot of this, has taken me to off planet and things like that. And that's what this series is going to be about, because my grandfather was a minister at the Anglican Church in Canada, where I grew up. And I just always watched him preach and stuff. And I kind of have that same vibe, but I've sort of debunked his religion, his Bible and everything, because I've studied the Sumerian tablets, and I've learned that we came from the Anunnaki. The gods in the Bible are actually Anunnaki. So you know about this, right? You're educated in this area?
In certain ways, okay. So I kind of work in the same aspect, but at a different level, a different meaning of it, a different concept of where they come from, who they are, and stuff like that.
Right.
you know, my belief system. I was raised like a strict Mennonite as a kid.
Okay.
Okay, so you know the church was a big thing in my family, and all my life I was like, I don't want to go to church. I don't like church. I don't can't stand it here.
Yeah.
And this is why. Okay, because the whole religion thing is all a big part of it. So yeah, I work deeply within working against the creator gods. Okay. So they are Anunnaki, they are reptilian, they are all this stuff. We'll get into. You ask some questions, we'll give you some answers. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, that's why I want to do this. I want to make my grandpa proud if he could see me, because I know if he's already on the other side, then he's not going to be stuck on his dogmas. You know, so I really want to just explore and do what he did. Like back in the day when my grandfather was alive, you know, that they needed people like that to help them get through. But I think nowadays we need people like you and I to really start leading and showing and teaching and letting the light come out of everybody else quicker. Because just meeting at a building once a week, I don't think that was cutting it.
No. You know, it's every day. It's every hour.
Yes.
It's being connected to it all the time. And you know, when I leave my office, I go upstairs, I turn it off, but then I come back, I can turn it on anytime I want. So you know, it can be every day, every minute if I want it to be.
Yeah. Well, this is a great way to bring it in. So just so people know what I'm doing, I'm basically writing my next book, and I'm not hiding it until it's done because I don't want anybody to steal it. I want this light out now. We especially need it for this time. What do you think? How you faring up there with the coronavirus? In BC? You're in Alberta or BC?
So we're in Manitoba.
Okay? Manitoba, right?
3 whole deaths.
Whoa.
3 whole deaths.
3 deaths from
200 cases, you know, possible cases.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, okay, come on. Where people die going to the liquor commission and tripping over a stone and this thing, you know.
Unbelievable, right? I remember I got it when I first started seeing it in the paper. I'm like, damn, I think I got that. Like when they had it in China, kind of thing. It was months ago, and the whole house got it because the kid. Of course, I had my old thinkings. I've learned a lot. I got one thing I can't complain about is what I've learned because of this. But the one of the kids I thought brought it home because he's coughing in my face, and then next thing you know, everybody's got it except one. My buddy, he's like, I'm not getting sick. He was almost sick too. He was sick for kind of half sick for a couple of days, and he's got a strong mindset. I'm not getting sick. Sick is bullshit. And the rest of us did though. But I mean, I had mine done in 5 days because I'm already alkaline. I'm always drinking baking soda and water, and you know, I'm a near vegan and stuff. So as a cancer coach, I know what to do. And the kids, it took them maybe a week or two, but that's it. It was done. We've been happy ever since we go, you know, and to think they shut the world down for that, because anybody could have done it. I would have maybe took 1 day off work if I had to still go and do electrical work like I used to, but it wasn't that bad. Did you didn't catch any flu or anybody, you know, get a little bit of the flu?
No, you know, but you know, to say we didn't get it, if you look back maybe 6-8 months, even maybe a year, both my kids, like my son is 8, my daughter's 6, they were both coughing like crazy for no reason, a dry cough, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm trying to work on it, and you know, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And then like 6 months ago, my mother-in-law almost died. She had some kind of strange flu out of nowhere, respiratory thing, and you know, you're working on it, and you're trying to figure out that. So viruses in my line of work are a very tough thing to discern and to work out, because you know what is it? The word virus in Latin means poison.
Right.
So what the scientific community and the medical community looks at it upon as something that's passed from one person to another. It spreads in your body and creates this thing. So any time I worked on somebody with what would be considered a virus, like a stomach flu or something like that, it would shorten the lifespan of it from 2 weeks to maybe, you know, a week or something like that.
Right,
but
right.
It was never really solid on what the heck it is. But I've got lots of in the last couple of days with my dowsing, I've come upon a lot of things that are showing themselves as to what this all is. So When you
Oh,
ask the question, we'll get
yeah.
into it.
Let's just so you guys know out there, if you haven't seen this before, he does dowsing. You want to explain that to them real quick, just so they get it? I
Okay,
kind of
so basically, okay. Hi everybody, my name is Chris Kehler.
right,
Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, born and bred.
right on.
The work I do is it's considered dowsing. Okay, so it's dowsing with a pendulum, and I use a chart system that I've developed. Okay, this is the chart system. Okay, I got
Whoa.
2 books that direct me as to what any kind of health problem might be. So let's say, Ian, you come to me and you're like, every couple weeks I get a heart attack, a minor little heart attack. And I'm like, this is not good. So we need to figure out why this is happening. And when with my dowsing technique, and I use a connection to source. Now, source is not God with the big white beard that lives up in heaven and governs over us. Source is an energy of love, of compassion, of knowledge. And the source, this is the energy of ascension. Now, ascension is what we're going through right now. We're disconnecting from what we consider the evil forces of the planet, okay, the demonic, satanic, evil forces, and we're connecting with the forces of good. So go back to the very first Star Wars movie. There it is, right there. Okay, that's what's happening here right now. Is going into ascension. We want to disconnect and beat the evil, and the evil does not want to be beaten. So they're coming up with all of these things to lower our vibration so that ascension does not happen. All right, it's going to happen, but they're slowing it down. Okay, so what I'm able to do is go into your energy, you go into your physicality, and figure out exactly what's happening causing these heart attacks. So you exercise regularly, you eat perfectly, your pH is perfect, perfecto. No history of heart attacks in your family. Why are you getting these little heart attacks? We can figure that out, and quite often it's either a grounding problem at certain levels, could be a misalignment of your magnetic or electrical fields, but more times than any, it's some kind of entity of an ET nature, reptilian. Gray aliens are very big. They're within and around us, and they're causing all kinds of havoc, playing with our DNA and causing all this disruption within our bodies. And when we find out what these things are, we use stuff like this. This is called sacred geometry. And this is made by a mentor of mine in Alberta, Canada. The word sacred means connected to the divine. So this is connected to source. So when I put my intent through this device to remove whatever problem I find, whatever area of your body, it goes away almost immediately. And we're able to bring your health back to normal. All of a sudden you stop having heart attacks and things get better in your life. So this type of system, we can use it for any kind of problem whatsoever. Whatever is lowering your vibration, a health problem, emotional problem, mental problem, even relationships and stuff like that. If there's negative energy involved causing a bad vibration, to lower your vibration, we can straighten out those avenues of frequency so that your body, your aura, we call it the feedback loop, by the way. All this stuff can now vibrate and work at its optimum level so that you have no problems in your life. That's where it goes. And what's happening now with the whole concept of ascension is that when I ask questions, and I'm talking directly to source, okay, this is the big guy that we're talking to, and the information I get, something new every day comes up that we need to pay attention to. Okay, and it's very, very eye-opening as to what we are, who we are, why we're here, how we work, how we connect with the beyond, how we connect with energy and so forth. Now, my mentor, Wayne, in Alberta, Canada, he's about 98 pounds soaking wet. His job is to go into the Earth grids and any other grids, for that matter, of the universe and clean them out of any kind of negative energy and entities and so forth, and harmonize things so that ascension will happen. And so when he cleans out something, he finds something new and cleans it out, all of a sudden I'm finding it within my dowsing when I'm working with somebody, and we've confirmed that back and forth a few times. So we're really connected, okay, at certain levels, so that we can work together on this. So when he clears out the second hologram, okay, we're in the first hologram. If he cleans out the second hologram, all of a sudden I'm able to go into that person and do the same type of work in different ways concerning holograms. You see what I'm saying? So the ascension process is fastly here. It is big, and it is happening extremely quick. And we're able to just get in there using your mind, using your intent through source, with the love of source, with the energy of source. We're able to use your mind and your will to change the energy. Okay, we're all able to do this, and we've all done it in certain ways and forms. We just sometimes don't realize it. But it can be done at certain levels. When you're working at higher levels with source and with the tools, and you know what energies to move out, anything is possible.
Yeah. Wow, man. Boy, that jumped right in there, didn't it?
You asked the question.
Yeah, I loved it. Okay. Well, a lot of my people, especially the Canadians, I think their heads just blew off.
Well, you know what? There is a very, very large amount of people who know about this stuff.
Yes.
And they are very energy sensitive, and they know that there's something going on in their bodies, and it's not something real and physical. It's something of a spiritual nature, and they need somebody like myself or other practitioners who know what they're doing with this, to be able to find these energies and move them off and move them away, so that all of a sudden their life gets better. So there's a lot of people who are like, I'm not going to a doctor. I'm going to go see an energy practitioner, because they know what to do. A doctor's just going to give me a pill that's going to numb me down, and it's not going to do the job.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I wanted to I was going to work our way into that a bit. So I don't know how, let's just go through these questions anyway. But we kind of already went right to heaven. I wanted to start on Earth. But let's just
ask some questions. We'll elaborate. Okay, there's lots of nuance.
I'm thinking of some. I consider my Canadian friends where I'm from like country bumpkins, sort of like Kansas. You know, we're in Kansas, total sort of thing. Which I know they're not all. A lot of them are very awake too. But for the ones that aren't, you know, like, let's just start first. What is a human being? Mind, body, and soul. Would you agree? Would you give me your definition for a human being? And the chakras is where I want to go with that.
Okay, so okay, let's start with this. If you were to ask me, Chris, what is the meaning of life?
It's a good one.
The meaning of life is to ascend. That's the meaning of life. We are here to ascend. Many of us have been brought here from other species, from other universes, planets, whatever. A lot of us are here as what would be called light workers to help in the ascension. There's a lot of people out there who are considered beings of light who are here just to raise the vibration just by being here, but they're getting attacked. They're getting attacked hard, and it's our job to help the troops to be able to raise their vibration to help the planet to ascend. So that in itself, to me, is the simple meaning of life. I mean, there's all the other things too that come along with it, but that to me is basically it.
I love it. That's one of the best ever. Now, so we're here. We're in this body, this Earth suit. I love how Gerald Clark calls it a meat modem, because we are meat, but it's we're sending and we're receiving. You know Gerald, don't you? Gerald Clark?
Heard of him. I've heard the name.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, so I'm just, the chakras is where I wanted to go. What do you believe in that? Do you believe we have chakras? I heard you say something recently that they may be getting drained, so I'm really wanting to go there.
I used to work in the chakra system. Okay, within my charts, there's charts that pertain to the chakras, to work in the first, second, third, whatever layer of the chakra, etc. They don't come up anymore. Now, I've had lots of people say, "Hey, Chris, the chakras don't exist. They are a reptilian form of control. It's something that we're focusing on, that the reptilians are in control of." Bert Casavalis, he's very adamant about the chakras not being useful. He's even said, remove your chakra system. I'm like,
Oh, he's the one that said that. I
yeah,
wonder
yeah.
who said that.
He was big into that, and some other people also brought it to my attention. But what I did is I just kept straightforward in my charts. Where do I need to work? All of a sudden, the chakras never come up. They don't. So to me, the chakra systems are just null and void. They're not there anymore. Now, the same with the soul. Okay, so the soul, the chakra system, the meridians, many other different concepts and aspects of us that were taught from way back when, back in Sanskrit days, back in Saisanchinivi days. All these things are old teachings, are old reptilian things that are not needed anymore or not required for the ascension process. So we're just not paying attention to them. Now, I made a comment once before that we don't need the soul anymore. We need to dissolve the soul, and that's going to help us to ascend, because the soul is a reptilian type of energy that if your soul gets reincarnated back into this world, you don't want that. You want to ascend and not have to come back to this piece of shit planet, okay? Okay, so basically, I just don't work in the soul anymore. Okay, so everybody says, well, don't I need a soul? I says, I don't know, do you? Do you really need a soul?
When I used to study Blavatsky, from what I understood, the soul is just our own piece of source. So I've always said, we're from source, we are source. I'm God, you're God, we're all God together.
Yes.
Right?
Helen Blavatsky, yes, I've looked at a lot of her stuff. A lot of interesting things. Yeah, she was really big in her time. Walter Russell, same thing. A lot of concepts in that regard. But ultimately, so the meridians, if you cut your arm open, you're not going to see a meridian. Same with the chakras, same with all this, the soul and all that. Just because we're told we have it doesn't mean we really need it anymore. The way I like to explain it, Ian, is that with Ascension, we're getting a whole new set of clothes, a whole new closet full of clothes.
Right. It makes sense. Because now, as an Essene for many years, and I thought Christ was in the scene, so that's got to be pretty good. I was a martial artist, so I've already done my own chi stuff, and I wanted to take it to the next level. And I thought Jesus is a good guy to copy. He's very polite and nice. And so I pretty much mastered that, and I've been doing it for 20 years. So I listened to a lot of Jeffrey Doherty. I think you were on the show once, weren't you, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I think I was, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like you. He's saying the same things as you, and he debunks everything. If you have anything at all, he'll debunk it, and well too. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, I forget where I was going with that one. The chakras, yeah, basically, it was a tool. Like, what would help me get out of my depression and stuff was you would take your chakra, your first chakra, and ground it to Mother Earth's chakra. And you would, all your all 7, I hear there's more now. Like, that's what I was going to ask you if there's any more, but I only learned up to 7. So we would ground ourselves to Mother Gaia with this. So that was part of my little mental thing to feel connected, I guess, whatever floats.
When I did work in the chakras, we worked with the 0 chakra, which was like a foot below your feet as a grounding chakra. Then, of course, the others within your body, and then a few up top. Okay, the 8th, 9th, 10th chakra, possibly. But again, those, here's
beyond that. What you're saying, we don't really need the 1, 2, 3s anymore. We're ascending. We should be at a higher vibration now.
And going deeper than that. Okay, going deeper than the chakras. I mean, maybe I don't know if they're there or not. I mean, I don't find them anymore, so I don't know if they're there.
Right.
So is it relevant? Maybe not. If you want to work in the chakra system, go right ahead. And I'm not telling you you're doing the wrong thing by doing that. Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right. Okay.
Right. Yeah. No, I love that about you too. That's cool. But I'm always open for new things, and it makes sense that and the Ascension. I forgot about this whole Ascension thing. No wonder that's what's going on right now, right?
And that's what's interesting about this whole timing of this pandemic thing, is that we're hitting Ascension now. Here's some interesting news on my end about the timing of it. So my mentor Wayne, he's off in his world. He's doing his work. He basically lays in bed and he's dreaming that he's going to these places and he's going in and cleaning out energies. And his wife does the same thing. Okay,
Yeah.
They're called Earth Grid engineers. That's their job. They make money by making these tools and selling them.
Right.
Okay. So he's been doing this 30, 40 years. Okay. He's Mr. Energy. So all of a sudden, like him and I, pretty darn close. Okay. Him and I do a lot of business together and we're always talking to each other once in a while, not a lot, but once in a while when he feels I need to know something. All of a sudden I get a phone call one day about, I'm going to say 3-4 weeks ago from his wife. And she says, Chris, we need your help. I'm like, okay, what do you need my help for? He says, Wayne is off in the second hologram and he is writhing in pain. I'm like, okay, what's going, like he talked to me about this once, that he's working in the second hologram, doing some energy clearing there. He brought back new oxygen and made some discoveries in that respect. But I can hear him in the background and this guy is screaming in pain. So I, of course, I start doing some work and I just had to coax him back. Wayne, come on back. Wayne, come back. Wayne, come back. So eventually he came back and he stopped screaming and everything. And he called me an hour later and he was just wiped. And then, okay, so fine. So then a couple weeks later, another phone call. We need your help again. And this has never happened. He's always in control. He's always going through things the right way, but he got into these areas that are huge. And basically it's kind of like a black hole with a lot of dense energy and antimatter. And it basically started to crush him. Now there's a lot of people I work with and a lot of people out there are going to be watching this saying, this is me. A lot of people feel like they have a lot of heavy energy on them, like they're being crushed, like it's a heaviness. This is that type of antimatter energy that is happening. So now this happens where I need to help him out, and at the same time this whole virus thing is happening. Okay, it's starting to escalate. So there's a bit of a timing thing there. Now what he's doing is doing clearings to aid in Ascension. All of a sudden, we're going to try and stop Ascension. Let's do this. Now, so the timing to me is impeccable with what's happening, and to me in my little world that explains some things that are going on out. That the whole virus thing, Ian, my goodness. Please don't watch Facebook. Please don't listen to the conspiracy theorists that are trying to make a name for themselves, because one, there's no proof about any of this. Now, so everybody's talking about 5G. Can I go off on this, Wayne?
Please. Yeah,
okay,
let's go.
So big thing people are talking about 5G. Okay. It doesn't allow oxygen into the hemoglobin,
right,
and so forth. Okay, so I've got this in my chart system, so I could find it within people. So I've got that as a consideration. A lot of people are talking that the virus itself is actually an exosome or an excretion of the cells, get throwing toxins out, just like a detoxification. When you detoxify too much, you get sick.
Yeah,
sure. And people are talking about that.
Last year they called it flu. This year it's the COVID-19.
Yeah. So now, okay. So of course, now when this happened, I have to douse about it. I gotta know everything, right? So I doused about it. The first word that I got was hysteria. Okay, that's the biggest word I got. That the hysteria created around it is going to create the illness.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
people are going to feed off that hysteria.
Yeah, sugar pill. I told everybody, change your sugar pill from fear to you're the greatest. You know?
Okay, so ultimately, that if that's what it is, that's what it is. Now, the way I work is that my proof is in the pudding. So I come up with a concept and I apply it to when I'm clearing people out for an illness or whatever's going on. Nobody with COVID-19 has called me yet. Okay, I've worked on one person who might have had it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
of course it's really because it's not that big a deal. It's hardly.
I know.
Damn. Hey, call us. One person, if you get it, call us.
Yeah, I mean I don't get no calls for the seasonal flu. Okay, it's like everything I work on is something at a very spiritual energy nature within most people. I get people with busted up knees. I get people with spinal issues, with stuff like that, and we work in that respect. But as far as these virus types of things go, it really never happens. The biggest thing I get when I keep on asking about it, because more information comes forward. And today I asked, and it is an H1N1. And all the pandemics since 1918 have been an H1N1. It's a seasonal flu. It's a influenza. That's the biggest thing I get. So if you look on the CDC or anywhere else for how many deaths due to seasonal flu this year, there's no information.
Because they're calling all the deaths CV.
Right.
Whereas if they would have checked last year, because I did this, I went and looked at last year's numbers, and it's less than this year's numbers.
Sure.
A few weeks ago, I forget now, maybe more, but
usually it's 650,000 worldwide per season or something like that.
Yeah, 500,000, or more. Yeah.
So basically, through the news media, through the governments, they're talking so much about it and making such a big deal. What do? You're watching. You're like, oh, this is big. This is serious.
Like 911.
And the more they talk about it, just like vaccinations, the more they talk about it, oh, vaccinations, we better do it. If nobody ever talked about it, nobody would care, nobody would know. If nobody ever talked about this on the news or brought it forward, some people would get sick, some people would die, we'd all go on our merry way. Yeah,
like every other year.
That's exactly it. So now
I'm glad you see that too, my brother, because oh man, I haven't got out to talk to anybody. Not the only one.
This is my life. This is my basement. I built this band room for my band when we moved in this house, and then when I didn't need an office anymore at a clinic, I thought, well, I use this room once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. Might as well bring a desk down here, and then when I'm in between clients, I go jam on the drums a little bit.
Right on.
But, we went out today to pick up groceries that we pre-ordered because you can't go into the supermarkets, or you don't want to go in the supermarkets.
Really?
Yeah, it's it's wow. You know what? We're playing the game. We're social distancing. We're not.
Do you have to wear a mask?
No, we don't have to wear masks
yet.
Oh,
good. If they try and make me wear a mask, try. Any of you, try.
Yeah, in Ontario, I think you might have to. Ontario's pretty bad. BC's pretty bad.
Really?
See, but they would get Ontario, BC. They get a lot of flights, international flights coming in, right? From
they can still fly.
No, but that's where there's a lot of deaths in BC and Ontario because there was a lot of people traveling, coming back from way overseas and so forth, bringing it with them. The H1N1.
A word from my health guys are don't wear the mask because that's just going to make you sicker. Anyway, and you don't catch viruses. I'll tell you real quick. There's actually have you heard this? There's supposedly no such thing as a virus in the sense that unless you do conscious postulates, you can't test. They've never proven a virus to go unless it was injected into but nothing's ever been passed through.
Now, I have seen, here, I'll show you. I have a microscope for doing live blood analysis.
Okay, cool.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful microscope. I paid like 10 grand for the thing. I have taken blood samples and seen the actual virus. Okay, a large, it's a round circle with lots of spikes around.
Right, so there is it, but you can't get that into a human without injecting it.
You know what? Can you? Can't you? I don't know.
As far as I know, you can't. They've done all these studies where they'll literally take phlegm out of people and put it in other people's lungs, and they don't catch it.
I've heard that. I've heard that too. Some doctors come forward and say that we've had 100 people across from 100 people with it, and nobody gets it.
Yeah.
Nobody gets it.
That was.
It's the hysteria.
Yeah. It's unbelievable, the whole thing. Okay, so that's cool. I understand the shocker is that, we may have had them at one time, but at this stage of the game, it may be irrelevant. And I don't know how to put it in words, but I kind of feel what you're saying. Past lives, what do you got to say about those? You believe in them?
There's a lot of cases where I work with people and they have a past life thing that happened. Whether it's a violent death or they committed a murder or something like that, something very serious,
right?
That they need to come back for and pay penance for it or correct it or figure out from somebody like me or somebody else what it is, so that you can remove it, you can forgive it and stuff like that. Past lives are are a big thing. They don't come up as much as they used to with my dowsing, because things are escalating so much. But oh, indeed, I find a lot of people who in past lives they were prostitutes and they got brutally murdered and they got drowned. So whenever they get sick, they get a lot of fluid in their lungs, or they're afraid of water, or all kinds of things like this will come up that would say, hey, this happened in a past life. So it's a real thing for sure, and we're able to go back and rectify the issue, forgive the karma, the judgment, anything like that, we're able to get rid of.
That's amazing right there. The karma and forgiveness. Okay. And since we kind of already got here, but what's your thoughts on extraterrestrials? Obviously you do believe in them. Can you give me in a nutshell your education on that? What you would want me to know?
Well, my education is a couple aspects. Number one is the experiences that I see when I'm dowsing, when I'm working with people. So of course my mentor Wayne, he's told me somewhat about them, and to watch for them. The reptilians, the grays, those are two very big ones that are happening. You can go on YouTube and see videos and pictures of gray aliens like crazy. Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean reptilians not so much. They're more of a something you can't see, more of a spiritual entity type of thing that out of there. I've seen one in my third eye. Okay. Okay. This guy came, his eyes are right up to mine, and I looked at him and said, boo, and he got the heck out of there.
Really?
Okay? They're scaredy cats. They are scaredy cats.
Really? Now, do you think there's a difference between Draco and reptilian?
Kind of the same. One's a higher level, maybe. Dracos are more military, reptilians are more army. So I don't know. They kind of come up at the same time in concepts of that. But basically, we kind of all have a reptilian entity with us that guides us. There's lots of people, they trip over the same step all the time, or they feel like they get pushed or something like that, or accidents always happen. These things are involved with that. And these reptilians love to feed off of your fear, anxiety,
anger,
and hysteria. Okay.
Yeah.
They love to feed off of that. And that's when they have dinners, when a lot of these types of things happen. So right now, with this whole pandemic, the reptilians are having a huge smorgasbord ham sandwich. Okay.
Just loving it. Yeah. Just
they
off the loosh.
Yeah. So the reptilians were something that I've been clearing out for years. Okay. Always finding a reptilian with somebody, some way, shape, or form, moving it out. And the reason I know that they're there and that they're an issue is because when you move it out, people feel better, their pain goes away, their digestive issue goes away, and you know that when you remove A and B, you'll get C and D. So it's proof in the pudding, and that's where I love to go with my work, is because there's tons of people out there who talk a great game about what's going on. Right. Okay, you got the David Wilcock. I love David Icke. David Icke is really good. I'll tell you about him.
Man. Yeah, he's the man.
Corey Good, all these military people, they will tell you stuff, but all you can do is believe them.
Right.
Okay. Which is okay. If you want to believe it, that's fine. I'm not saying they're wrong, but bring me a head. Okay. bring me a smoking gun, and then we know that you've got some validity within you. Okay. So with the reptilians,
sometime soon, yeah. this century.
the reptilians, they're huge. And now, okay, so a lot of people who are here in a past life may have been reptilian and chose to reincarnate here to participate in the ascension. Okay, that's a no-no. You're not allowed. That's like leaving a gang. You're going to get a beating on the way out. Okay. So that is something I've seen quite a bit, is that type of issue. Then you get into the gray aliens. Okay, these things are all over the internet. I've heard stories about people who aren't one bit into conspiracy, not one bit into the spiritual thing, not one bit into the work I do or anything like that. They came forward and said, you know what, Chris? Me and some friends were out in a farm field moving a tractor. We turned a corner. There's a spaceship. Green mist coming off it. He says, we all got the heck out of there. So you hear stories from people who you would not consider hearing a story from, that right there is validity that there is existence of extraterrestrials coming to visit, doing things, making things happen, slaughtering cattle, taking DNA. I got hit by an ET, I guess about a couple, 3 months ago. I woke up and I was paralyzed. And it's like, get the fuck off of me, you piece of shit. You know, just,
Oh, you had that.
Oh yeah, and a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, he invited them in. He said, if you're here, come and get me. I invite you to come and get me. The next night, they had his head twisted. They were inserting stuff in his ass. He says, it was brutal. I says, I'll never do that again.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. I was trapped like that once too. And,
it's the more stories you tell, the more stories you hear about it. And the whole concept of, are we the only things living on this planet? No way, Jose. There is so much going on right now. There's so many reports of spaceships that are going on. It's like, and we're going to call them lights in the sky, drones or something. Now, okay, so we're on Zoom. We can do this. We're going to share a picture. Now, everybody's like, yeah, okay, Mr. Bald Guy. Yeah, you're talking a good story. Let's see some proof. Let's see some proof. Now, I'm going to pull up a picture. Oh, can I share my screen?
I barely know how to share my screen. Okay. Let me see.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, you have to go, okay, share screen. Okay, we're going to do that. And we are going to, let's see. Okay, can you see that?
Well, I've shared my screen. So do you see my screen?
Yeah, I see your screen. You may need to turn on my screen to share it.
Allow record. No,
okay, so you have to turn your shared screen off so I can share mine.
Okay, so let me get back.
Because I got some pictures here of some ET that I personally took.
Okay, hold on. So here, I'm back in the regular spot.
Okay, so I'm gonna press share screen now. Where are, oh, in my photos.
Oh, you can share on your end?
Cool. I might be able to.
Oh yeah, there you go. We can both share. Cool. I never knew that.
Okay, now, okay, what this is now, this is a picture taken by the NASA SOHO satellites of a war being fought around the sun.
Recently?
Can you see this? Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
So right here is a spaceship. Here's something that got hit.
Wow.
Okay. Now these pictures were shared to me by somebody who used to work in the secret military. It wasn't the Davids or Corys. It wasn't them. Okay. Now can you see this one?
Hasn't changed yet. Same one.
Okay, hold on.
That's pretty trippy.
Yeah, this is the golden picture right here. Can you see that?
It's still the same one.
Still the same one. What the heck is going on here? Okay, we're gonna take that one out. How about that one now?
And now we're back to
me. Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this again. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's a new one.
How about this one?
That looks like a shooting star and something. A sun blocked out by a moon.
Okay, so we'll go to this one. So this one here, this is the NASA SOHO satellites, SOHO 1 and 2. You can see the disk that they block out the sun corona with. And this here is a portal opening allowing ships to come down. These are like Jupiter-sized ships coming out of the sun portal. The sun is a Stargate. Okay, and again, these are shared with me by somebody who got these off the NASA site before they scrubbed them.
So they're coming in and out of the sun because the sun is a Stargate.
Yeah, our system is a very big hub of intergalactic travel.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. Now, is this battle, is it the old usual Draconians versus the Palladians kind of thing?
Well, you know what? Who's involved? I don't know who's involved. Some bunch of, could be Luke Skywalker. I don't know.
Well, you know, the reason why I'm doing this, at the end of the day, I'm trying to, and Gerald Clark and Rex Bear and Jeffrey Doherty and some of these, all these different guys have sort of nailed it down to the Rothschilds on the planet were basically
oh,
the
anybody
Anunnakis.
who's yeah, anybody who's of a high profile like that, the Rothschilds, Gates. I mean, I don't want to start naming names and disrespecting people if they're not, but anybody who's of an elite nature, they are Satanists. They do honor the dark side. They do sacrifices. They do have sex with minors, the Epsteins,
Yeah,
Weinsteins, all that stuff is all paying homage to the dark side energy. Okay, now can you see this picture?
yeah,
Okay, so what you're seeing here now, this is me. You can see me in the left corner,
yeah.
along with a friend of mine. He come in and he wanted to do a couple sessions with me, and he comes by maybe once every couple of years. He's the only guy I let in my office. Otherwise, everything is done on the computer. But he said, Chris, you know what? I was listening to a radio show, and this guy comes on. I won't say his name, and he's asking questions about you know, what is this about? What is that about? This happens to me. That happens to me. He doesn't know quite what it is. So he says, can we call him up? I says, sure. So we looked him up on Skype. Oh, there he is. I called him. He answered. What are the chances of that? So we're talking to him, and I'm telling him, would you like me to do a clearing for you? He goes, well, what do you mean do a clearing? What the heck are you talking about? I said, well, you know, my friend was telling me you had some issues that you were facing. He goes, okay. So what I did at this precise moment that you see on the screen is he's got his head in his hands.
Yeah.
What I had just done then is I took my pyramid and I held it up to the camera like I always do, and he went into extreme pain. He's like,
Wow.
what the heck is that? Put that thing down. What are you doing? He went into extreme pain. Now, if you look in the background here, can you see my cursor?
Oh yeah.
What do you see there?
That looks like a person or something.
It's something. Now, this thing is
Reptilian.
holding some kind of crystal or light. Okay?
So, I thought maybe that was a person there, but it ain't. No, nobody was there with him.
You can kind of see the eyes here. Okay, there's something there. All right. So when I held this pyramid up, the energy pushed this thing out, and that's where his pain came from, because it came out without working it out slowly. That's where the pain came from. So now this picture I've had for, you know, a good couple of years, and I was looking at it when I go, hey, wait a minute, there's something else there. Now, if you look in the background here, what do you see here? Here is a pelvis. Here's a belly button. Here's like a naked person. Okay, the legs. And look at these claws, 3 claws. Here's an arm, the belly button. You see that?
Oh, yeah. I get the claw part.
Okay, yeah. So the more you look at it, the more you see it. But this is a demon that came out of this person. So all these entities were just pushed out of him by showing this pyramid to him. They didn't like it, and they took off. Okay, that's what happened. And the next day I talked to him briefly. He says, Chris, I feel so darn good. I've never felt this good in my life. I feel like I'm walking on air. I said, we got rid of a lot of entities out of your body. And this is a reptilian, okay? This one here, this is some type of demon. That's when I dowsed what it is. It's a demon, okay? So these things left his body. And right there, you can't deny, here am I, here's Brian, and the screen froze. Now, here's the interesting thing. You work on Skype, so do I, quite a bit, and all of a sudden the screen freezes. But generally, it comes back right away. But this thing froze and would not shut off. So we got a camera, we took a picture, and boom, that's what we got. And it froze for a reason, okay? Yeah. So we could see this stuff.
Holy smokes.
Look at that, eh? There's no denying what this is. Yeah. And I also have a friend who says there's something over here he can see. I can't quite get it myself. There's a light here, something maybe here.
Since then, the guy's been cleared up?
Yeah, he's been fantastic.
Wow.
And I introduced him to one of my colleagues, one of my students in Nottingham, England, where he lives, and they've been you know talking to each other and making sure he's okay. But that's what we're seeing now. I've got another one here now. Of course, so this is one concept. Okay, these ET, these aliens, and so now we're going to go to another concept of what we would call energy attacks, things that like energy weapons, sound weapons, that type of thing. Okay, so we're gonna. Can you see that one?
It's still the same one.
Still the same one. What the heck is going on here? Okay, so we're gonna get rid of that one. How about that now?
There,
No, gotta go back. Gotta go back to share screen. Okay, we're learning how to work Zoom here pretty good. Okay, okay, here it is. So this person, her name is Allison Powell. She's since passed away. This person was under extreme attack, extreme voices, thoughts, coercion, and all kinds of different ways of doing things. Now, what happened here is that she was sleeping on an air mattress. And all of a sudden, like at 2, 3 in the morning, she heard a pop. The air mattress popped, and then she felt a burn on her back. And look at the burn. Look at the pattern of this burn. This is not burning yourself on a cigarette lighter or anything of that nature. This is a type of energy attack.
Yeah.
Okay, so this stuff happens. Now, these are all entities, energies, whatever you want to call them, trying to stop people from doing this spiritual work to aid in ascension. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
What did she pass away from?
We don't know. All I heard is from somebody that she had passed away. I'm sure it was something definitely to do with this type of issue going on. Now, we're talking about lung viruses and lung issues. And I've got a microscope, $10,000 microscope. Can you see this, or do you need to do it? Oh, let's do new share. Okay.
I can see.
Can you see that?
Yeah, the green.
Yes. So now we're going to hit play. I even took video of this. Okay, there's play. All right. So this is something that I coughed up out of my lung. Okay. Now, I had this cough. It was a wet cough. I couldn't figure it out. Weeks went by. What the heck is this thing? So finally, I hacked up a loogie, and I put it on my dinner plate, took it downstairs, put it in my microscope, and here it is, okay?
I'd totally do that if I had one.
Well, sure. So now this looks like an eye, but it's not an eye. It's an anomaly. But this would be considered a parasite, but not like any parasite I've ever seen before. It looks like it's got hairs on it that are moving around. The thing's trying to swim. This is a white blood cell that's trying to kill these things off. And, I did move the slider around quite a bit and saw quite a few of these things.
Huh.
But this recently? Thing here, this is, I'm going to say a year and a half ago, something like that.
Oh, so it's not the recent cough.
No, it's not the recent thing. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to create hysteria here. But like what the heck is this? So there are things that are being implanted in our bodies. Now, one thing I have found with this whole hologram thing, okay, with the second hologram that Wayne was in and etc., is that when you're coming out of this hologram, there can be pathogens, bacteria, funguses, pathogens that are within there. All these things that are around us, bacterias and the like, they're not of this world. Okay, they're not of this world. So where do they come from? And that's what I've been being led to by source when I'm dowsing, is that in that portal that we are going in, that gravity portal into those holograms, there is these pathogens within there waiting for us, let's say, and you come back with them. So that is one concept that we're certainly working with, and
wow. So you're saying they're transferring from the fourth dimension, then fifth, whatever, to
dimension,
third?
hologram, whatever. I mean, our perception of what it is,
right?
We'll never understand what it is.
When you're saying hologram, is that sort of like the new Earth? Like there's the old Earth and the new Earth? Is like this is the old hologram and the new? Is that hologram or you two? I've never heard this hologram thing. What you're talking about.
I'm like, okay. So Wayne has talked to me about. Not densities. What is it? What did he talk about?
Oh, dimensions and densities.
Not so much dimensions, densities, but templates, octaves. He talked a lot about octaves. Okay, so there's different octaves. Everything is energy, is sound, etc. So when we talk about octaves,
Frequency.
there's 9 different octaves that we live within. 10th octave is source. That's the vibration, the octave of source.
Okay.
But then he started talking about this hologram stuff. Now I've always heard stories that, oh, this is all a hologram.
Right. That's what I was wondering.
A hologram. Let's call it a hologram of density. So if that's the case, that's the case. So the hologram thing now. He says he's gone into the 2nd and 3rd holograms to clear them out. So I was working on somebody with a lemon-sized tumor on their breast with breast cancer, and I found them in the 28th hologram. So there's a lot of high density going on within this person. So you got to go through all these densities to get to them. But if you know where they are and you can pull them back, then you can work on them a lot easier.
Interesting.
Okay, so the concept of what is going on up there is far beyond what most people, what 99.9% of all people on this planet can perceive and even think about. I mean, most people, oh, I got a soul, I got a chakra system, that's all I need. That's me. It goes so much deeper than that. If you ever listen to Ashiana Dean, she is very enlightening as far as what goes on in the things out there that affect us in a lot of ways. So going into these holograms, again, you might feel a heavy weight on you, a crushing sensation, darkness around you. I mean, these are all characteristics of being in that energy of these things. Okay.
Archons is another word that we can use, right? And let me take it further. Reptilians. The reason why some of them could be good or bad is because some of them are archontic, just like human beings have devils in them, spirits in them, archons in them. Yeah, does any of this?
The word archon has been thrown around a lot, and I do have it in my charts. Right. The word archon in Latin means ruler.
Right.
So I mean, that could mean a lot of things. That could mean the creator gods. Okay, they're huge. We've been dealing with those guys forever. The Egyptian gods. Thoth, Horus, Set have been really big. Zeus used to live in my right big toe. Okay.
What was that story? Yeah.
Ever since I can remember, 3-4 years old, I've been always injuring my right big toe. One way, shape, or form. Tripping over it, cracking it. The last thing I did is I hit it as hard as I could with an axe wearing sandals.
Did you cut it off?
No, it was a dull axe and it hit just behind the nail and it split the skin. I've got the pictures. Oh man, it was like, what's going on here with this toe? And I doused it and finally got the answer that Zeus was my weak spot. Okay, and that's how they're getting to me, is through this right big toe.
That's funny.
Oh, and now it's fine. It cracks once in a while, and it doesn't hurt anymore. But it's one of those things that they do to lower your vibration. They find your weak spot.
I remember that one of your shows you said that, like, what we were getting ready for Ascension, or we were preparing for it, and what's the best thing to do? Bring this pandemic, because that's what they do. The archons, reptilians, draconians, whatever you want to call them, negativity. They're trying to keep us down, as if we don't have enough. And I can just throw some proof to the pudding in this one, because when I quit drinking, and I advise this to anybody to see you actually, or whoever, somebody that, because am I right? When you've been drinking for a while, you probably got some demons in you. Because I had a person do a cleaning on me, and a chip fell out of my head onto the ground and disappeared. So it's not enough just to quit drinking. If you've been hanging out in bars with this deep, dark spirits,
Yes. Now anything to do with addiction, okay? Gambling, cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever. It's all a thing, and they're grabbing onto you, and they're making this happen so that they can feed off of that energy, okay? Mm-hmm. So in order to get clear of the addictions, you got to get clear of this controlling entity that's within you that's causing this to happen, because they love that energy. When these bad things are happening, you get drunk, bad things happen. They live off of that energy. You get beat up, they love that energy.
They love it. The loosh.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Right.
It's It's a strange world we're living in now. 12 years. Let's go back to this virus thing a little bit. All this stuff is coming forward. I got so much going on up here. It's not even funny right now.
Yeah, let it flow. This is awesome.
When I started doing this work 12, 13 years ago, I'm a retired printer, okay? When I was 47 years old, my first wife passed away. She had a rare disease called scleroderma. So when she passed away, the finances were that I could stop working. I'm 47 and I stopped working. What am I going to do now? I've always been into bodybuilding. Well, I'm going to become a personal trainer. A good friend of mine owns a series of gyms in Winnipeg. I can become a personal trainer for something to do. I'm not getting back into printing. That was a volatile place to be. So I started going to the University of Manitoba, started taking kinesiology courses, started doing all this. I'm spending thousands of dollars to learn this. I thought, okay, let's do it right. All of a sudden, halfway through that, I discover this work. A friend of mine comes over for coffee and she says, you know what, Chris, you've been in printing all your life. There's a lot of paper dust, solvents, chemicals, inks, all this negative stuff that could cause cancer. And I'm like, oh, shut up and give me another beer. And so she left some business cards and some pamphlets and she says, just read these. I'm like, whatever. Okay. So next day or a week later, whatever, I'm walking in my local mall that I went to every day for something to do. And I always pass by this one store, never look at it. So that day, all of a sudden I stop and I look at it. It's like, I'm supposed to go in here. Let's go in here. So I go into the store and they offer foot bath detoxes, and the guy who owns it does muscle testing for supplements and all kinds of stuff like this. Cool. So I'm like, what's this foot bath detox stuff? So I'm like, oh, come on in and we'll sell you 1 or 2 or 10. And so I do one, and I'm talking to this guy telling me my story. He says, let me show you something. So he takes his hand and starts kind of waving it over my body, and he's tapping his finger. He says, oh, you have a rib that's popped out of place. I says, how did you know that?
Yeah.
He says, your body told me. I'm like,
well,
okay, you got my attention. I was leg pressing 750 pounds at the time, and I popped a rib.
Right.
Okay.
Well.
So he starts telling me about this, and I went back for another foot bath, and we're talking, and there's a guy in Selkirk, Manitoba, just outside of Winnipeg, who teaches this stuff. Muscle testing, tapping your fingers, kinesiology. So I thought, this is interesting. So I stopped the kinesiology course and started taking this. And look where we are now, Ian.
Yeah, right.
So way back when, as soon as I started learning to use this letter chart and talk to source, talk to something that's giving me information, I asked, why am I doing this? Why me? I'm an old drunken printer why me? It spelled out the words, an accident at the virology lab in Winnipeg.
Whoa.
Yeah, way back when.
That's one heck of a spelling. That took a while to spell that out.
No, it's very quick, relatively quick the way I do it. But it was very clear that there's going to be an accident at a virology lab. Now everything is kind of metaphoric. You have to kind of look into it. So a big virus type event or something like that. I thought, okay, so my job is when this happens, I'm supposed to be here to clean up the mess.
Oh.
In certain ways. So here we are.
Right.
It's come to fruition, and I'm understanding more and more and more about what's exactly going on here with upstairs, as above, so below. I've talked with my parents who have passed away. I've been able to talk to different relatives and get real answers. And it tells me, okay, there's something that we need to pay attention to here that is very important, that humanity needs to know about all this stuff.
What's the history of this dowsing, and why did it go to you? Like, how did you pick it up?
Well, a history of dowsing. I mean, people were water witching.
Yeah, to find water, right?
Thousands of years to find water. Yes.
Yeah.
So when I started doing this work, of course, I start researching different courses and stuff like that. And I found this one course out of Toronto from the Radionic and Dowsing Institute of Canada. So they send me I spent like $30,000, and they sent me all this stuff. and it was charts like this. And I'm going through it, and I started to learn how to use a pendulum. And it just, instead of muscle testing for herbs and stuff like that, I started getting real interested in following this concept of getting into the energy component of things. And this course taught me how to do it. I bought a big, multi-$1,000 radionic device to channel energy and move energy. I still use it for charge bracelets and waters that I use within my business. So I just started realizing that dowsing is where I need to be. And now I'm at a point where I don't even use a pendulum anymore. I take my fingers and just run it over the page, and it spells it out. And just follow it. It's a magnetic flow of energy that comes out through the fingers, through the arm, that leads me to where I need to be. And it spells it out very clearly for the most part. So I know that I'm here for a reason. You're here for a reason. My wife is here for a reason. We're all here for something. Just I figured it out. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And I think we're all one too. Like there's something about that one.
There's certainly a connection with everyone. Now, through the feedback loop, or what people call the aura, there's connections, and that's how this virus can be exchanged. Through the feedback loop. If you're in close proximity, somebody has that energy within them, they can give it to you. I mean, there's countless ways how this, it can go through this spit, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
Right.
Ultimately, it can be passed from one person to another. How does it get given to one person? It can be done through the satellites, okay? Psychoelectronic weapons have come up very, very often within my dowsing. The gray aliens, they take those satellites and program them, put a frequency in there, hijack them, hit somebody with them.
Right.
Is it the Chinese waging war on America? Sure, why not? In what way, shape, or form? There's gray aliens on this planet. There's reptilians on this planet, okay, in our skin. And they're here doing things. They're controlling things. The secret military, they're all reptilian. Okay, that anybody high in high profile jobs, presidents, CEOs, lawyers, you son of a guns, they're all reptilian.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. I was just watching one of my old favorite videos, The Human Origins with Robert Morning Sky. Have you ever heard of Robert Morning Sky? He's a native Indian.
That one doesn't come to mind.
He, his great granddaddy found the other crash. Like Roswell had a crash, and there was one near his Indian reservation, and his great granddaddy and some of the guys saved the alien from the army and just let him crash with them for a while, so they learned from him. And he basically tells the story, the history of the world, the galactic history, and it's apparently the lizards are the reptilians are the oldest. They think the way he says is think Earth, monkey grows to man. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, think that, but a long time before that, little lizard, like draconian looking thing, grew into a man. Now it's skin, but it's like hairless, and it's like a human, but it came from a reptilian. And then think dog. There's also the dogs. That's the one that came from the Dogon star, Dogon or whatever. Is it Sirius? I always forget.
Sirius,
yeah. So there's three different types of souls on this planet right now. There's the human being soul, which is sort of monkey driven. There's the reptilian, which is obviously reptile driven. And then there's the dogs, the wolves. Just like the scary movies that they have, those little teen movies with all the scary wolves and the vampires. It's all like that. And one guy just recently who I saw, there's no accidents or mistakes, as you know, so everything that comes to me is for a reason. And this one guy broke it down like this. He goes, look at it. Hillary is a draconian. Draconians, they don't have a sexuality on the other side. They're not male or female. So when they're here, now that they're here, they've evolved to this point. That's why they're out of whack sexually, why they have the pedophilia thing. I'm sure a lot of people wonder, how could anybody even think of being about, pedophilia? Well, if you have a draconian soul and you're not male or female, that's why you have all this weird children stuff and the real extreme homosexual stuff or whatever. It's really like, have you ever heard any of this stuff?
Oh, yes. I work with people all the time with this type of thing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So it's perfect. He said it this. He goes, look, the draconian would be Clintons, the reptilians, because he said draconians are all bad.
Okay.
And then the human beings would be, no, I don't think human beings ever got to run for office yet. Only Rh negative blooded reptilians have run for office in the world, in America anyway. So does that make sense to you?
That to me resonates very highly. Okay, so to elaborate on that, if you want to know if somebody's reptilian, if you know of somebody who's very competitive, greedy, have a big ego, they don't seem to have any kind of empathy for people, people who are assholes. Yeah. Those we're going to call those reptilians, or reptilian, a personality type of a reptilian.
Yeah, you don't need those. Remember, They Live. You don't need the shades anymore. If they're a douche, that's probably a draconian.
Oh yeah. Oh, the movie They Live. My late wife, she used to go to school with Roddy Piper.
No way.
Oh yeah, she was in her first. He was in her first wedding party when she was married before. And his real name was Rod Toombs. He was from Winnipeg. He was a badass, a lot of steroids and stuff like that.
Yeah. That was a great movie, or documentary.
I watched it a few times. It was definitely interesting. A lot of people say you got to watch this. I'm like, you need to watch Jupiter Ascending. That's what you need to watch.
Oh yeah, if y'all haven't seen Jupiter Ascending, forget about it.
Oh my goodness, it's so. I just sat there and looked. My wife's like, "Are you okay?" Says, "This is what I do for a living, man."
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. They nailed it. They had the draconians down and everything. Holy, that was an awesome movie.
Yeah, but you look in the movies and you look in certain aspects of television, and there's a lot of breadcrumbs. Okay, in certain ways, there's people talk about the Simpsons predicting stuff. Anybody can make that up on a Photoshop and stuff like that. Anybody can do that. But there's a lot of movies. Movies like The Fifth Element, movies what's that one where they go? Never mind. Anyways.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
There's a lot of movies that you might go, there's something in here I need to pay attention. And quite often, my wife and I are looking for a movie, and I go, let's watch that one. Something I need to know.
Yes.
Something I need to it'll spark something in my mind that I need to address.
Exactly. Like I say, no accidents or mistakes or coincidences.
No.
Everything happens. That was my favorite book I read years ago, was The Celestine Prophecy. Taught about that. No accidents or mistakes or coincidences. I really want to keep talking a little bit about that. The reincarnation, because I actually that the guy I was just talking about, the morning star or morning sky, and the whole story of the galactic thing, he was saying that about, you don't want, if you die, next time you die, do not go down the tunnel of light, look behind you for a warmer light, like your own light. That's your own light. Go to it and just think, ET, go home, because we're all ETs and we're not at home. Earth ain't home. This is a prison, or at least a very hard school. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Okay, so here's something lately that's been coming up.
You heard that one before, though?
Funny you should. Oh yes, I've heard that many times. Okay. But funny you should say the word home. Okay. So again, 10 years ago, I get out of bed, I hear a voice. I don't hear voices. I don't see images. I don't get that kind of feeling. Everything is done within my dowsing, basically. But I heard a voice, and it was like, home, sweet home.
Clear audio.
Home, sweet home. Home, sweet home, home. And I was like, that was significant.
Yeah.
and
you're not used to it.
It sounded like a computer voice. And I was like, okay, I have to pay attention to that. So what I'm getting now within my dowsing is that we're all going to be going home.
Awesome.
Whatever that means. They're not coming forward and saying, well, your home is Planeta Serpasius or whatever. We're going home.
Source.
Home to source, home to whatever. Okay. Yeah. So and I get little messages like, oh, eyes in the sky tonight. Watch the sky. I get these little encrypted messages in between my dowsing. But the big one is, when I heard that 10 years ago, home sweet home, and we're seeing it now in the dowsing, get ready to go home. It's significant. That means a big change, something. I also got the message that within source is the projection of the new earth.
Interesting.
So everything here is a hologram. Maybe there's a new movie going to be playing, and Ian's a star.
Well, we're all God. We're all one, so that means we're all the star.
Well, exactly. I mean, to me now. Here's another, timeline correlation is we're getting those messages, and here is this huge pandemic thing that is completely changing the whole world. It's not just affecting Zimbabwe and China and this and that. It's affecting the whole world. So the agendas are more than just one agenda with this whole thing. I think there's a lot of things taking advantage of this to distract us from what's really going on. Get all the protesters out of Hong Kong and Venezuela.
Right.
Put all the protesters away. Quiet things down. Look at the pictures from NASA that the pollution is clearing right up.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, my friends in LA are like,
yeah,
we didn't know it looked like this. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things, kind of like the calm before the storm, something of that nature. There is a transition happening right now. Okay. A lot of people are talking about the New World Order, the forgiveness of all debt, digital currency. We already got that anyways, whatever. But all these different things, perceptions of what this means to you is starting to come up. So to me, to be getting all this energy, all this information at this specific time with this event happening is a big ball of something that's going to break open, and we're going to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like what you said earlier about this whole, like the chakra system is reptilian, and that's because we are reptilian. We are made from the Anunnaki,
Yes.
who are reptilian, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we're gonna.
No, I've run into some mermaids.
In the third eye?
I ran into some people who have mermaid DNA who are able to time jump out of harm's way.
Oh, whoa. 2
of them specifically. One is a student of mine. Okay. She lives in LA, and you're driving down the highway, all of a sudden a big accident, all of a sudden they're on the other side of the accident. It's happened more than once.
Oh.
Yeah, a friend of mine in Winnipeg, she says, yeah, that happened to me. This guy's coming at me, and his car went right through me. He stopped the car, got out, and his jaw hit the ground. He's like, what was that? So it happens, okay? Time jumping, bilocating, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is going on. I mean, it's countless on with this person who in LA, her mom. Now I'm going to talk about one case that I worked on that proves to me that there's really something huge going on. Her mother lives in Germany. She was on her deathbed. They came in, they did the last rites, they arranged for the crematorium. She was gone. The next day she was supposed to be gone. So she calls me up that day, says, Chris, can we just do something? I'm like, no pressure. Let's do something. We did a clearing on her. The next day she got out of bed and walked out of the hospital.
Holy smokes.
Without a word of a lie. And I'm like, okay, you got my attention, source. Something's going on here. Yeah. And what we found within her daughter was that a lot of mermaid type of DNA energy. And in certain ways, in the military, they want these people out. The military are after this person because they want them out. Okay, yeah. They have a lot of gifts. So I asked my mentor Wayne. I says, "Do you know anything about the mermaids?" And he says, "All I know is that the military likes to make fun of them, and the military's after them." So there's something there.
Yeah, I've heard stories about that before. People disappear, go live in another world for years, and come back.
She does it quite often, okay? And to me, it's okay. Her dowsing always comes up with rare genetics this, rare genetics that. And that's what this is in the DNA, there's these chromosomes, these genomes that enable to avoid danger before your time. If you're not your time to die, you're not going to die today.
So that, again, that's like fourth dimension mixing with third or something.
Something like that. And to me, it's like, okay, I don't understand it. I accept it. But there is certainly something going on out there that, we're going to learn about it soon enough. We're only allowed to learn about certain things at certain times. We don't want, Source doesn't want to expose its hand during this war, because there is a war going on. Source, the evil, the good. There is a war. So if we expose our hand, then they're going to know, and then they're going to have more energy to stop ascension. So we get to know little things here and there as we need to know them.
Mm. Now, does it make sense to you? Doesn't seem like there's a rhyme or reason to ascend. That's ascend. What do you mean? Why? Why do we have to be tortured?
To me, ascending is breaking away from all the evil, all of the bad stuff, the tyranny, the being kept under a microscope, all the bad stuff. Okay, that's to me, that's what ascension is. Okay, is being able to disconnect from it all. Nothing bad happening in your life. You want to become a painter, you can become a painter. You can do all this stuff without anything holding you back, nothing getting you down. That, to me, that's what ascension is. Everybody has their own idea of what it is, or in their minds what it is. But I think ultimately it's just a complete and total disconnect from anything bad in your life. Nothing bad happens in my life. Okay, I can't stand up and say, oh, my life is terrible. I for the past 8-10 years, things have come my way. Okay, my wife and I we're all of a sudden we're going to have kids. We're in a small house. Well, we need a bigger house. Boom, here's a bigger house. Wow. It's a huge house, 2,500 square feet. It's huge. It's multi-level. It's a brand new house in a neighborhood that I grew up in when I was a kid. Now, my son is going to play baseball in the fields that I played baseball in. He's skating in the same skating rink that I did when I was his age.
Oh, that's awesome.
So Source says, here's a gift.
Yeah.
If you accept it, it's yours to have.
That's amazing. I kind of feel like I'm there too. I feel like I've ascended. My life is pretty good. Even with this thing, I have empathy. So I really feel everybody right now, the ones that are homeless or losing their jobs, losing their savings. But I'm a recluse, so it hasn't changed my life a bit. I never leave anyway. But oh man,
the ascension in many ways is many different things, many different concepts. We're not going to all of a sudden die and stuff like that. It's more of just a graduation away from. People have been practicing dark energy for thousands of years. Okay, anybody practicing satanic witchcraft, practicing rituals, and you go on the internet and they'll show you how to do it. Yeah. Draw a black star, put a candle on each side, put somebody's picture in there, take a knife and stab the picture, and that person will die. They'll tell you how to do it. Right. And that's what's basically the big thing, is getting away from all this what we would call satanic energies, the sacrificial energies. Pedophilia is all sacrificial satanic energy.
Right.
That's what it all is. Okay. Yeah. So all of that stuff, we're going to break away from it. It's going to be less and less and less and less. We're going to hear less about it, less of that in our lives, more positive stuff instead of that negative stuff.
Yeah. That's what I'm hopeful for. If I could, because I'm trying to, because I kind of feel like that I've been told, even by my feelings anyway, that the light and the dark has already gone to war. The light's won, and it's up to us on Earth to do it now. Because basically, the favorite stepchild of the Anunnaki are, you know who they are, the 0.1%. Basically, mm-hmm. They're running the show. So, and I do use names, and it's all out of respect too. But I mean, as far as I learned, again, it's from this Morning Sky guy, and then the Interview with an Alien. There's a great book called Interview with an Alien that also. She tells the story of the galactic history. You ever heard that one? With the Roswell crash and the
I've heard something of it. I don't know the details though.
They interviewed the secretary at the Roswell Army base or whatever where the crash was, because all the men were warmongers. So this AT would telepathically speak with the secretary, and she wrote everything down. It's a book. It's amazing. And then this Morning Sky also did it, and so has basically Gerald Clark, and a lot of guys have taken what's his name, Sitchin, the Anunnaki story, right? Basically, he said that The Anunnaki came to Earth, they had to make the human beings. So they made us. And the first ones, the test tubes that basically really lived and learned to procreate on their own, they ended up calling that gang or troop or that tribe the Rothschilds or the Red Shields.
Right.
And then eventually it's the Rothschilds. And then they put together the Masons, and then they put together the rest of the world. And to this day, supposedly the Rothschilds still run the world, which again, I would just call them the Anunnaki's favorite stepchildren. But we're their stepchildren too. And that's where I think we're coming into now. We have to stand up to the plate and swing hard in case we get a hit. And I think we should be hitting some people out of our sandbox, because it's not fair that every president that's ever been is RH negative blooded draconian. And so is the Rothschilds. You know what I mean? Like, there's your sign, aside from if they're an asshole. But if they're RH negative blood, now we can't say anything bad about all the RH negatives, because I got a ton of friends that are RH negative. So I don't want to throw that one out there. But the ones that are 0.1% that eat babies and drink blood and that kind of, those are the RH negatives. I don't think should be allowed to run for office. Does that make any sense to you?
Well, yes, and there are undercover people. Now there's I'm way out there. There's a lot of people who do this work, do interviews, are way out there. There's so many people behind the scenes that nobody knows or hears about, that are working in that direction to get these people out. Okay, so there is a lot of backdoor stuff happening.
Oh, do you think that QAnon stuff might be true?
I don't follow QAnon. I don't really follow anybody, right, because I don't want to get distracted from this. I follow this. This is what I follow. My heart is there.
His kind of story is what you were saying. Like,
yeah,
we're all hoping that, you know, the reason why the world's shut down right now is because they are arresting the pedophiles. And it looks good. Trump did say he's going to shut down the Fed, and
that's all good.
The World Health Organization. I mean, he's doing everything that he said he was going to do. It just took him to the last second.
Yeah. Well, you go back, you look at Epstein, you look at Weinstein. They're starting to pull these people out on the carpet and say, here they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank God too.
Did he kill himself? I don't care if he killed himself or not. As long as he's out, doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay. But now I think the tree is being shaken, and things are going to fall out. Things are going to come up. Anybody, please, if you see on Facebook that Trudeau got arrested, blah, 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 got arrested, come on. Come on.
I wish Trudeau got arrested. This morning I woke up to one saying, they're gonna hang Bush.
Oh, yes.
And Obama. Oh man.
Yeah, you know what? So yeah, people who are listening to this, please use your filters. Please don't use your heart to know what's right and wrong. Okay, this is all distraction. Everything out there is distraction. You need to be looking this way. They got you looking that way. The governments, the deep state, put a lot of stuff on Facebook to distract you. They put stuff on YouTube. They make it all up to distract you. They want to create a huge conspiracy that sounds unbelievable so that nobody knows what to believe. Tomorrow, if a 10-mile wide spaceship landed on Earth and beings got out and said, "Take me to your leader," we'd say, "That's bullshit."
Hologram.
Nobody would believe it. Okay, I'm just using that as an example, but who knows what to believe now? That's the thing, and that's why I know that when I'm dowsing and I'm getting results out of people, it's telling me a story about what's going on over there and how it's playing out here, so we can understand what the whole concept is of us, ascension, ET, energy, evil, good. We can understand all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think this shutdown has helped everybody raise their consciousness a lot. If nothing else, I've told so many people about baking soda. Put a teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of water after any acidic meal, which most people eat acidic, and you won't get sick. It's a really good tip.
Well, the whole concept of pH, and you're right, and that's something I do douse with is the person's pH. Oh. And all of the factors that are involved with it, not just the food we eat, but our hormones, our neurotransmitters, all kinds of stuff like that is all involved with keeping our body in balance. And the pH is one of the biggest balances we need to keep into play, along with the electrical magnetic balances, mineral element balances are very, very, everything has to be in balance. And the pH is a big one. Okay. Huge. But we, you know, you could take some baking soda and water every day, but we go a little further than that, Ian, and we find out what's in your body that's creating the acidic environment. Is it your liver? Is it your pancreas? Right. What's creating that acidic environment?
Right. Or your mind, or who knows?
Your mind? Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And that's why a lot of my people out there, especially my cancer people, you got to call this guy if you haven't done any kind of spiritual healing, because this stuff's real, man. When I was down, when I went from up to down, and it wasn't just because I was physically drinking a liquid that had alcohol in it. There's entities attached to that. That's why they call them spirits. So I'm really glad I finally got to meet you, because this is great for my people to know about, because a lot of people come to me saying, well, where could I go? And I have this one Reverend Lynn, she's a scene master, and she's the one that taught me everything. So, but this is another way, because these ETs are real, these negative energies are real, but we are not powerless against them. And that's what I love about you. You know your source, you're from source, and you're using source to help people get back to source. So yeah, I take my hat off to you for that.
And I take my hat off to you for, you know what, putting yourself out there, putting yourself on the firing range and taking a hit now and then and just getting back up and giving it back to them.
Yeah, man. Like Rocky says, you know, it's not about how many times you get hit, it's how many times you get up.
I've had to get up many, many times. I would get hit so bad sometimes. Really? You know, and just lately within the last year, getting hit with different things, and it's like, what's going on? I know what's going on, and I would work with it and get rid of it. But you know that they're trying to get you down.
That's the key. And the same thing, my buddy and I, we help people with personal training and rehab and stuff, and everything's mental too. Energy's energy. So wherever you happen to have your ache and pain, there's charts we can look at and say, oh, that's right side. That's, you know, well, you know, there's ways of figuring it all out.
The most powerful thing in the universe is our mind.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was a Canadian kickboxing champion, that was one of my main lessons. It's all mental, almost like 95% mental, and the rest, you still have to get in good shape, but it's all up there. Mm-hmm. That's the key. So man, the whole religious, all the religions, doesn't matter, Christian, Jewish, or Muslim, it's all from the Abrahamic, which is the Anunnaki brought them the tablets. Enlil is Yahweh in the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. Who is Zeus? Zeus wasn't Enlil, was he?
Zeus, of course, Zeus wears many faces. I don't really know the background in that respect.
I forget which one. Some people nail it down to who they are.
Yeah. What I have found though is in Jewish mysticism, Hod has been very big. Finding Hod within people, H-O-D, and if you look at the Jewish Kabbalah, that looks like a chakra system. There's all these different terminologies, and Hod is one of them, and he's very much a bad guy. I find all these things within people. I was working with somebody, and it's source spelled out the word Odu, O-D-U. It's like, okay, let's move out Odu. This person had a full-out exorcism, moving this energy called Odu out of this person, full-out exorcism.
Whoa.
So there's all of these things, and there's rogue entities, there's rogue gods, there's jealous gods, there's all these things that want to govern humanity, because you know how powerful we are, Ian?
Yes.
Okay, we are, our biggest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our biggest fear is that we're all powerful.
Yes.
Okay, once you learn how to use that power. Okay, so let me tell you a quick story. So I'm dowsing, and I find out about this 13-foot white reptilian. Okay, this is a huge mother effer. Okay, I found him. As soon as I found him, I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting." My wife opens up a cupboard, and way 10 feet in the air, something falls on her.
Ooh.
Something that should not have moved out of that cupboard. Then that night, I go to take a pee in my ensuite. He's in my shower. I can feel him there. I started walking away, and I gave him a blast, and boom, he was gone. But he was pissed off at me that I found him.
I bet.
So I start moving this thing out of people, start getting some changes. But all these gods, or the creator gods, the ego gods, the wannabe gods, that they are jealous. They want control of us, and they just can't have it anymore. Okay, they can't have it anymore.
Yeah, that's what King Solomon too. His lesson, I think, was, not, you don't fight them. You talk to anything you say. Let me talk to your father, because who's the father of any demon? The same as our father, right? The source, God in the sky, the creator of all.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
we used to work a lot with the there's a Curse of Solomon. There is the Ars Notoria, the book of spells, and that book exists in the Vatican Library. I mean, there's all these different ways that they would call upon this demonic sources, these evil sources, to get something. Okay, why would you call on them? Of course, to get something. But with the dark demonic, to get something, you got to give up something.
Right.
Oh, I'll give up humanity if you give me this. I mean, it goes down to that level. With source, you want something, it costs you nothing. It's free, baby. It's gratitude.
Right, as long as you're working in the light realms, right?
Yes, you have to be there. I mean, they can fake you out and make you pretend that they think that you're working in there. I learned the hard way that Satan can heal. The dark energy can heal very nicely, but you're going to have to give something up.
That's what I said to a friend of mine today, because she was young and didn't really know, but she kind of, without knowing it, basically cursed somebody, because she's mad at him. And rightfully so, because they're draconian scum, and they've caused her to have autism, and a lot of other people. And I said, whatever you do, just, words are very powerful, and don't use black magic. And that's kind of what that was, because you're being negative to that person. And really, I hear that if you do use black magic, you get it back.
Yes.
Maybe tenfold. I know it's more than onefold. It's not the same as you're giving out. It's a lot worse. So whatever you do in the black magic, everybody out there, in case you think it's good, it's coming back to you, right?
You know what? It is. And you don't know how it is. It might hit you. It might hit a family member. It could affect you in certain ways that you don't even realize. That is powerful magic. And we are working now with more powerful magic that is all giving, all loving, that is here for us, not to honor the draconians, the reptilians. That magic is on its way out. Anybody who does practice it, I think they're seeing that their magic isn't as strong anymore, and that they know that their days are numbered.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank God too. Wow. Man, this has been a really good show.
We got to do this again, Ian. I'm going to say within the next month and a half, 2 months, we got to do this again.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because what's happening here with my work is the things that are coming up are so very, I can't even think of this stuff that's coming up. I can't go on the internet and research it. It's so incredibly clear of how we need to work with a person's energy to correct a health problem. It's just, we need to go further with this in a couple months.
Yeah, excellent. Well, right on. Is there anything I've missed that we need to talk to tonight, or?
So many people are going to be watching your show, Ian, and that is a good thing. I'm going to ask a big favor. Anybody who's watching this show, and if you would like to do a session with me, I'm going to ask very politely if you could please go to my website, chriskehler.net. I do have an online scheduling format where you can go in and book an appointment. Please don't send an email asking me to do an appointment tomorrow. That's not going to happen. I get very many people asking me, can you do one now? Can you do one tomorrow? I work 8 hours, 9 hours a day doing this, and I do have a family like you, and I need to stop at a certain time so I can enjoy my family and recharge and do things in my house and enjoy life. If you watch my schedule on a daily basis, people cancel all the time. People who booked an appointment 6 months ago, all of a sudden get their automated reminder and they go, oh, I forgot I have that. I can't do it. Boom, they hit the cancel button. That appointment's open up. First come, first serve. So I'm here to help everybody. If you're patient, if you watch the schedule, you will get an appointment. I also have practitioners who I have been teaching. I teach this work, okay? It's called True Quantum Healing. you can go onto my website and you can have a look at the course. It's $2,500, which is nothing these days, and you can get everything you need to start dowsing and start clearing people, yourself, your friends, your family. You can start. I have 5 practitioners who do this as a business, so I can refer you to one of them quite easily. I have one in California, one in Nottingham, England, one in London, England, one in New Zealand, one in Boston, Massachusetts. So the people are kind of all over the place. We're creating a grid of true quantum healing. So we can certainly facilitate you in that way. So I'm going to ask just please be patient. We're here to help. We're here to help everybody, and we will. If you can just, please stay the course and watch the schedule for appointments.
Yeah, right on. There you go. Okay, cool. Well, man, I could probably do another hour and a half easy. So in the next month or two, we'll have to get together again, brother.
Yeah, I'm empty anyways.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and we'll talk again soon.
Ian, I love you. Keep up doing the work. You're as big a part of this as anybody is. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me too. I love you too, brother. All right. Peace.
Peace out.
Finally get to see the best sights, a different starry sky each night.